Good day. Here are today's top stories from the Pna Headlines. More Filipinos are supporting President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. and his administration over the Dutertes and their political alliance, according to Okta Research. Based on its latest Tugon ng Masa survey, Okta Research said around 36% of 1,200 respondents called themselves pro-Marcos. Among the pro-Marcos supporters, support in balanced Luzon increased to 47% from 43%, while support among Class A, B, C respondents grew from 38% to 42%. Okta Research noted that pro-Marcos support varied widely between regions, with the Bicol region garnering the highest at 78% and parts of Mindanao scoring 0 to 30%. Meanwhile, 18% of the respondents identified as pro-Duterte. 8% expressed their support for the opposition, particularly former Vice President Leni Robredo, the Liberal Party, and their allied movements. 26% of Filipinos tagged themselves as independent or not supporting the Marcoses, the Dutertes, or the opposition. Around 12% of the respondents were indecisive about their political preferences. The Commission on Elections has released rules preventing discrimination against candidates and their supporters during the campaign period of this year's midterm election. In Resolution 1116 promulgated on Wednesday, the Comelec said acts of bullying, ridiculing, vilifying, and harassing women and certain sectors during the campaign period may be held liable for an election offense. These sectors include people with HIV, persons with disabilities, on the use of public accommodations, and people who are classified based on gender, religion, or culture. Comelec Chairperson George Garcia said these guidelines aim to ensure that the campaign would be fair and non-discriminatory. The Comelec also signed an agreement with the National Commission on Senior Citizens to make the elections accessible to senior citizens. NCSC Commissioner Mary Jean Lorecha said the senior citizens will be prioritized on Election Day by providing priority lanes, among others. The Comelec earlier allocated early voting hours between 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. for senior citizens, persons with disability, and pregnant women nationwide. Meanwhile, the Comelec and the Department of Foreign Affairs signed their own agreement ensuring the transfer of funds and resources for overseas voting. DFA Undersecretary Jesus Domingo said the deal also covers election-related expenses such as hiring manpower and stage fees for foreign service. Presidential Communications Office Acting Secretary Cesar Chavez has resigned from his post, with former journalist Ruiz taking over as his successor. In a statement, Chavez confirmed today that he will vacate the PCO post on February 28 or upon the appointment of his replacement. Chavez said he submitted his irrevocable resignation on February 5. The acting PCO chief thanked President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. for the opportunity to serve his administration. He admitted that he would leave with one regret, adding he has fallen short of what was expected of him. He also said his appointment on September 5, 2024, he had given his best and served each day as if it were his last. Chavez vowed that he would continue supporting the Marcos administration as he remains within public service. Meanwhile, Chavez said he would introduce Ruiz to the PCO Management Committee on February 24 to prepare for a week-long transition. Ruiz will serve as the fourth PCO head under the Marcos administration. The Department of Agriculture assures it is on top of the quality control measures for the kadiwa ng Pangulo Rice for All program. In a press conference, Agriculture Secretary Francisco Chu Laurel Jr. acknowledged reports that bukbok or rice weevils were found in some sacks of RFA rice in KNP stall in Cubao, Quezon City. Chu Laurel said that while it is an isolated incident, the DA and the Food Terminal Incorporated noted that they would be more diligent in quality control. He said the DA and FTI will ask for training from rice experts on proper protocols and implement a double layer of quality control on stocks. Meanwhile, the DA said it is requesting the Commission on Elections to exempt the sale of rice stocks from the National Food Authority to local government units from the election ban. Chu Laurel said they are releasing a letter informing the Comelec of the NFA's program to sell rice under the declaration of a food security emergency. At least 67 LGUs have signed up with the NFA to make cheaper rice available to their respective areas. The Comelec prohibits the release, disbursement, or spending of public funds for social services 45 days before the May 12 midterm national and local elections. In our business news, the Department of Trade and Industry has laid out the proposed perks for car manufacturers under the Raise or Revitalizing the Automotive Industry for Competitiveness Enhancement Program. The government is earmarking 9 billion pesos as fiscal support for the program, which covers the manufacture of 3 specific models of 4-wheeled internal combustion engines. Participating car makers may receive up to 3 billion pesos each on capital expenditure. They will receive the fiscal support in tranches until they complete 100,000 units. Board of Investments Executive Director Maria Corazon Halili Dichosa said Toyota and Mitsubishi have signified their intention to enroll under RACE, which will be implemented under a joint administrative order. Meanwhile, the government is planning to conduct a new round of green energy auction this year to facilitate more investments in renewable energy. Energy Secretary Rafael Lotilla said the government has seen a high level of interest in solar power companies as more Filipinos turn to the use of solar panels for alternative power. Last week, the third leg of the green energy auction secured a total of 7,500 megawatts of committed renewable energy, exceeding the target installation capacity of 4,650 megawatts. The green energy auction is part of the government's strategy to reach 35% renewable energy in the power generation mix by 2030 and 50% by 2040. And that's the latest and the biggest stories on the PNA Headlines. For more news updates, visit our website pna.gov.ph or our Facebook and X account, Philippine News Agency. The PNA Headlines is also streamed via the Servicio Facebook page. You may also watch the PNA Headlines through the Philippine News Agency's YouTube account and via the News and Information Bureau website under PNA News. I'm Wilnard Bacelonia. This is the PNA Headlines, bringing stories that unite the nation.